From the Infineon Raceway in Sonoma, California, to the New Hampshire Motor Speedway in Loudon, New Hampshire, NASCAR travels 3,130 miles to race on this 1 mile oval for the 29th time.
All clear in front of you there.
'93, the first NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race here in New England, specifically the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. If Dover is the Monster Mile, New Hampshire is the Magic Mile. Jeff Hammond, Larry McReynolds, Steve Burns, and Elliott Sadler, and some of our closest friends from New England here to entertain you with Trackside Live, our Friday night party/TV show.
Larry, we can and will entertain.
I am so proud of you.
What are you proud of?
Because of the fact a little while ago we had rain here, but you knew our fans from New Hampshire would be up here. You didn't stand in the rain. You cleared, you parted the skies, you brought the sun. You're quite the meteorologist.
You know, it is what it is. But you know, you kind of hate that qualifying got rained out, because I think it was going to be a very interesting qualifying session. But the guy that really comes out smelling like a rose on this whole deal is our points leader, Tony Stewart, the 14 car. He was fast at the beginning of practice. About halfway through that practice session, the car gets away from him in turn 1 and 2. He hits the wall. They unload the backup car. He gets his backup car out there, and he's actually pretty quick in practice with the backup car, but it was going to be a scramble for those guys. They started changing the engine as soon as practice was over, but because this happened before qualifying, even though we didn't have qualifying, and they got the engine changed, or they started changing as soon as practice is over, per the NASCAR rule book, even with a backup car, he will get to start on the pole.
Well, I think he just became the favorite of the race. We all remember what happened in the All-Star race with the pit stop. They came through that adversity. We all know what happened with Pocono to come through.
And he had to start at the rear at Pocono with the backup car.
I think he's going to be the guy to beat, and he always runs good here. Even when he was in the 20 car, he won a lot of races up here, led a lot of laps, started on the pole, gets that first pit box. Definitely going to be strong on Sunday.
Better believe it.
Now, before we open up the Shell Garage, congratulations to Richard Petty Motorsports. Casey Gang gets the win. 3 of the drivers in the top 10 at Infineon Raceway.
Man, that was, you know, our guys been doing a lot of work, and we ran good there last year. We kind of took those same cars, rubbed on them a little bit, did a lot of testing for them. Casey did a phenomenal job to outrun Tony Stewart at Infineon on all those restarts. And let me tell you something. If you're a race fan, you had to love the restarts we had last week in Infineon. Those things were crazy, but congratulations to Casey. Like you said, we battled back from, I think we were running 40th with 40 laps to go.
You were a lap down at one point.
2 laps down. 2 laps down with 40 laps to go. Came back, finished 10th. Very happy about that. 3 cars in the top 10. A great, great weekend for us. We needed that.
Congratulations. Now let's open up that Shell Garage and talk about this race here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. 301 laps on Sunday. And Jeff, one of the things we talked about in our practice show that really is unique about New Hampshire is 22 nationwide races, 22 different winners. 28 Cup races here, 18 different winners. This place doesn't seem to favor any one particular team or driver.
No, Steve, it just, again, it shows that the changes that have happened at this racetrack, the difficulty, track position, and a lot of times it's the little things that get you in trouble. I mean, they may come with a different tire. They may repave the racetrack. The team may come down and make a mistake on pit road, or the driver get caught in speeding coming on and off. The main thing is you've got to be, I think, smart enough to be at the front of the pack at the end of this race, because it's been shown before that if you can be leading this race with 10 laps to go, you won't get beat. I mean, that's the key right now. You got to be up front, and you never know what's going to happen at this place. They may call it the Magic Mile. I'd call it the mysterious smile.
And you know what, Elliot? I believe that this is going to write another chapter in the book of the double file restart shootout style. You know, the first 2 races, we had those big racetracks at Pocono at Michigan. A little bit of an interesting twist last week at Infineon. Really proud of the drivers, but boy, did it create some excitement. But a 1-mile racetrack, especially with all the nuances that go with it, the wave-by, the leader's choice, I think this is going to be another learning experience for the teams, for NASCAR, for everyone.
Well, I want to contradict what Jeff Hammond just said. If you were leading the race here in years past with 10 laps to go, you can't get past. I think with this double file restart, and we always have green-white checkers here, and it seems like we always have restarts at the end, it's going to be mayhem. I couldn't believe last week we were still 2 and 3 wide in turn 7. Like 7 turns later after we took the green, this double file restart has brought a lot of excitement to our sport, and it will do it. I know you're shaking your pen at me, but it'll do it a lot this weekend.
You can't contradict it because you can challenge it because it ain't happened yet.
Okay, I'm going to challenge
There you go.
That the double file restart is definitely going to create a lot better racing here in New Hampshire on restarts and stuff like that. And I think the leader's going to take the outside again here.
I really believe he will.
I think you got to have that momentum off of turn 2 to get down into turn 3. But these double file restarts are definitely changing the race. They're changing the way the crew chiefs are trying to call the race to get yourself in position. It's almost then when the caution comes in, you make a pit stop, you're thinking, what line do I want to be in? Last week, the leader wanted to be on the outside. Everybody else wanted to be on the inside because the outside kept stacking up in turn 2. So you kind of want to get yourself in position to make sure you're in the right line on restarts.
And this officially starts the race to the chase. 10 races till we're right back here, and we'll know who the 12 teams are that's going to go for this championship in 2009.
He just scared me.
Who's in, who's out, Larry? Have you started that yet?
Oh, yeah, the color chart.
I got my color chart.
Okay, sorry about that.
Is it a little early for the colored charts?
No, not it's
Maybe
never
next
too
time.
early. Time for our advanced auto parts. Who's on tonight? A little bit later on, Brian Vickers will join us from Team Red Bull. And as soon as we come back, Matt Kenseth joins us here on Trackside Live.
Trackside is presented by new Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines and brought to you in part by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. And by Suzuki Automotive. Live large, drive small.
Matt Kenseth has been to victory lane already 18 times in his career, including the season-opening Daytona 500. Fenway Racing, Matt Kenseth.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, guys.
How are you?
Good. How are you guys? I'm glad you showed some good highlights because it doesn't seem like it's been that good lately.
Daytona 500 is not too shabby.
That was good, but it seems like a long time ago.
It's about time to turn things around. And just so we get the record straight here, Matt was talking to me before we came up on the thing. I said, ever as far as 10 to go. What I meant
you said
to say,
since 93.
with 10 to go, 9 out of the last 10 races have been won when you're leading at 10 to go. 9 out of the last 10. Not one
It's like
you
that
said
at
you
most
lost.
tracks, though, isn't it?
It is. It really is. I mean, it's just, you know how it is. Just, you get up,
I just wanted to pick on you today, Hammond. Good job with the research, buddy. I was just kidding. You did good.
Don't give him too much credit.
No, that's not good too far. I'm going to go ahead and get into this thing here. How's your wife doing?
She's
Everything
doing good. Yeah, she's really good.
You real excited about what's getting ready to happen?
Pretty excited. I'm just waiting.
Just waiting. Are you patient
I've been all right so far.
so far?
Yeah. I'm ready for it to happen.
Are you? You going to let Steve teach you how to change a diaper?
Nah, I'm not letting Steve teach me anything.
Hammond, do you know what they're doing? They're doing like the
I
coolest
don't want to
thing
know how
ever.
to do that.
I've been listening and watching and paying attention to
Their
it, and it really
interior
is.
decorator came in and decorated a room and have locked it, correct?
Yep.
Melissa did, who
Yeah.
did my house also.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to see it
I
because you
hope
don't
she
know
didn't
what the
decorate
bed
it
is.
like she decorated your bedroom.
I hope
I'm a
not
little
either.
afraid of that.
That won't be good with it. What do you think? What are you feeling about it? You got it, it's a boy, a girl? What are you feeling inside?
I don't know. I'm not feeling it. I have no idea. I'm going to be surprised. So I don't really have a feeling.
Have you snuck in the room to look yet?
Nah. I don't want to know.
But the
I don't want to know how to change a diper either, so that's why I don't want to teach me that.
But Matt, the
That
interior,
means you agree about it.
Yeah, why would I want to learn how to
the
do that?
interior decorator didn't trust you and Katie. Once she put the carpet in, What did she do? She stuffed
Well,
a towel into the crack underneath the door.
Yeah, she put towels under the door. Another thing is I called her the other day. I said, hey, you need to leave a key at home and tell me where it is, because I'm not going to go up there and look. I don't want to look. And Katie's the one I got to worry about. And she won't do it. She's like, no, I'll come over and open it up once you guys have the baby. So don't trust me.
She must know you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I know a good story about Matt. You know, you guys are big macho race car drivers, and you wear cool shades and Victory Lane. I was working out in Daytona, and Katie was I was sort of eavesdropping. She said that Matt went and got her ice cream every night in Daytona and brought it to the motor coach and gave her ice cream.
Went and got her some last night, too.
I see.
That was been her one craving. She's been craving, like, ice cream from McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or whatever. So
She said she had, like, 6 sundaes in their freezer. She couldn't eat them all.
yeah, that's pretty low maintenance stuff. All I got to do is get her ice cream. So
I must be pregnant because I crave ice cream every night.
I think that's more information what we really need. But let's get back and let's talk about your season so far. I mean, again, it started off. I mean, you could not ask for a season to start off any better than yours has.
Yeah, I mean, the start was really good, and obviously it was great. And then we went to Vegas, and we broke on the first lap, which was kind of the start of a little bit of a slide, which was really weird because we never, Doug Yates and guys do such a great job with engines. They got good power. They never break, and we just had a part break there on lap 1, which was really weird. And then from there, we haven't got the results that we needed, but I feel like there's been times we've been running better, but maybe we've had an uncharacteristic problem on pit road, or we've had got spun out last week on the track, or you just something different all the time. We can't really just look at one area and say, man, we need to fix that, and our finish would be better. It's been something different every week, so we don't quite have the results, but I feel like we've been running a little bit better lately.
Hey, we'll have more with Matt Kenseth coming up. No diaper changing tips. Want to remind you, meanwhile, that to locate campgrounds near the Daytona International Speedway, visit GoRVing.com. You'll also find virtual RV tours, a free DVD offer, and RV dealer and rental locations in your area. Race fans, make sure your heart is on track. Visit CheeriosRacing.com, and you'll get a great heart-healthy tips and $4 of coupons from Cheerios. You'll also be entered for a chance to be one of 3,300 lucky fans to get their name on the number 33 Cheerios race car this July 11th at Chicagoland Speedway. Trackside Live back with some of our most faithful fans at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Elliott Sadler, Steve Burns, Larry McReynolds, and Jeff Hammond spending time with Matt Kenseth.
Matt, this is a fairly short race here this weekend. 301 laps, I think 318 miles. I remember sitting down with you a couple of years ago, and there's always the chitter-chatter about shortening some of our races, but you made the comment, I think, to Mike and Daryl and I, that you like long races, especially when it's a long race where you have to manage your tires.
Yeah, well, the double file restarts has probably helped that a little bit, where it doesn't need to be quite as long. But the main reason I've always liked long races is because I'm so bad at qualifying. We need all that time usually. It's been a little better lately, but where we're used to always starting to, high 20s or low 30s, we pretty much needed 500 miles to work on our stuff. And
a lot of your
do the
wins
pit
have been in the
stops.
longer races, though.
Yeah, they have. And my pit crew over the years, I've been so blessed to have such a great pit crew over the years, too, where they've been able to make good adjustments, have fast pit stops. And it seems like the longer races obviously have more pit stops. And it seems like that would always help us get our car a little closer. And they always gain positions on pit road, it seems like, for me.
You started off the season with 2 wins, but right now you said a little bit earlier, maybe falling off some since then. You're 10th in the points right now. 10 races left to go for the chase, like Larry was talking about. Where does the 17 need to get a little bit better at in these last 10 races to make sure you're going to have a shot in the chase for the championship?
Yeah, it's been strange. It's just it's been kind of hard to figure out this year. Like Michigan, I always feels like is probably my best track, probably statistically. And when I go there, I just feel like our performance is good, even if we don't get the finish. And we ran awful there a couple weeks ago. We had a loose wheel, which kind of got us behind, which was weird. But we just didn't run good. So the main thing is make the cars fast. If the cars fast, it seems like you can have some things happen during the race and recover from them, or law averages will catch up and you'll get your finishes. But we just a little bit of everything. Mainly, I think we got to get our cars better. But besides that, it's just been different problems every week.
Matt, when you won the Daytona 500 and then again at the Auto Club Speedway in Fontana, a lot was made out of about Drew Blickensderfer and how well Matt and he are getting along. And then you had 4 races in a row where, you didn't obviously have the finishes you wanted. Did you have to reassess not just your relationship with Drew, but where you were as a team when you go through a down streak like that?
Not really. I mean, the first 2 weeks were like a dream. I knew that wasn't going to continue. I knew that, sooner or later you're going to get, reality was going to set in, and things weren't going to be that easy. I realized that, and Drew's a smart guy, and he realized that as well. So it's been all I hope for and then more, really. I mean, even when we have off days, Drew and I get along really good. I think our communication is really good. We've been, learning each other, and with huge assistance from Chip, who's been there the whole time. And we're kind of all learning each other's personalities and how to work through the things, what we want to do, what we need to do better, what we've been doing right. Just kind of figuring out how to make it all work together. And I think overall, I've been really happy with it. Obviously, you'd like to have better finishes, and you want to be up there running with the best guys every week, which we haven't been able to do that on a consistent basis. But I think he's done a great job. I think he's done better than I could have expected for his first year, for sure.
With all that being said, let's go back to the fact we haven't had testing this year. Would you like to see testing come back in some way, shape, or form?
No.
I'm with you.
Well, I mean,
He didn't let you finish your question.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to cut that off to the point right there. Yeah, but you just wonder because like I say, your performance sounded like it. You think if you had testing, would it help you get caught up?
Yeah.
Not really, because it's the same for everybody still. Whether we all get to test or we all can't test, it's really the same. I mean, honestly, I'd rather add 2 or 3 more races than to go test more. I mean, if we're going to be at the racetrack anyway, I'd rather line up. Yeah, you don't have to test. Exactly. No, but seriously, I would. I'd rather run more races than to go test. So these cars with all the rules and stuff, it's not like you can get way out there on a limb. Yeah, you can try some things and whatever, but most of it's bolt-on stuff, and there's just so many rules and stuff in these cars. The old cars, it was different, because you could move bodies all over the place, and you could move frame rails, and you could do all kinds of stuff. But here they got you locked in pretty tight. That when you get to the track, it's more like even when you go test, to me, it seems like more like a happy hour session. You're changing springs and bars and shocks and all the stuff that we do when we get to the track.
Coming up, more with Matt Kenseth. Don't forget, we'll be at the Daytona International Speedway next week, and we're going to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Richard Petty's 200th win by entering the 2009 King for a Day VIP sweepstakes. You can purchase specially priced $43 front stretch tickets. For more information on the Daytona promotion, go to speedtv.com, keyword promo. Next week, Speed has 2 heart-pounding nights of Wreck. First, catch an all-new episode Thursday night at 10 Eastern. Then the action continues with a Wreck marathon Friday night, beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. Get hooked on Wreck, life in the crash lane exclusively on Speed. Time now to go over to the Lazy Boy Lounge, where Larry McReynolds is hanging out with Matt Kenseth.
What do you think about our Lazy Boy Lounge? Not too bad, huh?
I like them. I'm comfortable. I was just telling you off air, I've carried a lot of these things in the past. My dad used to own a Lazy Boy store. He used to deliver furniture all the time with him when I was a little kid. So.
Yeah, you shared with me that you actually take the back off to carry them. I've been carrying the whole thing of the whole time I've been hauling them
it takes
around.
like a minute. You flip the little metal things and pull the back right off.
We talked about you and Katie expecting a child here shortly, and you and Katie have been together for a long, long time. And of course, you take the motor coach almost every single week, and you were telling me a few weeks ago that you weren't sure how this was going to work because you had never been to the racetrack since you've been racing Cup without Katie there with you. It was a little anticipation there.
Yeah, that's true. We, we're best friends, and we hung out for a long time, and we love pretty much doing everything together. So it's been an adjustment for her, I think, to be at home, and it's been an adjustment for me to be here too. So you're talking before about me getting her ice cream. Well, I didn't tell you the part that she's been doing for me. She's been cooking me meals and puts them all in Tupperware. And
you were concerned about that.
Yeah, so I got pre-cooked meals.
Cooking?
Yeah, so I'm good all the way through Sunday morning right now.
Matt, my son Brandon races in the UARA series, and of course your son Ross races. Actually, he's won a couple of races. I know the answer from my perspective. How tough is it when he's racing and you can't be there? It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, he races way more when I'm not there than when I'm there. So Saturday night when we were in Michigan, we flew down to ORP and watched him race down there. It was the first time he was at that track, and Drew went down there with me, and a couple other friends of mine. My dad went down there with me, and it was a lot of fun. I have so much fun. He actually let me spot for him and didn't fire me. He said I can do it again, so that was fun. I'd never really experienced life in the spotter stand before. I'll tell you, them guys are way overpaid. That was just for the benefit of my spotter.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, I wish you'd be there all the time. It's so much fun, and it's so cool to watch them learn everything, And I try not to drive them crazy with too much advice, but it's really cool to watch them go out and do something. And, you watch that corner, and you'll be he's like, I mean, you should try that, and he just figures it out by himself. So it's a lot of fun when I get to watch him. I get to race with him on Tuesday night in Madison, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I try hard to be dad, but no matter how hard you try, that I know from my perspective, that crew chief just wants to always ooze out of you, and I'm sure from the driver's perspective on your side.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of the things that you got to let them learn a certain amount of stuff by themselves. You know, there's only so much you can tell them, and other things you just got to learn through experience. So I made so many mistakes when I was racing late models and doing all that stuff. It just drives me crazy sometimes. I just want to, tell him how to do it all, but you can't. He'll figure it out, and he's way ahead of where I was when I was that age. Well, I was just starting racing, I guess, when I was 16. But when I was in those type of cars, he's already way ahead of that. He's been doing a good job, and he got his grade point average up to 3.7, so he can race. So he's been doing good in school too, which was the main stipulation.
You mentioned something, Matt, and I'm glad you brought it up. When you look through the Cup drivers' bios, you see where they started racing quarter midgets at 4 and go-karts at age 6 or 8, but you did not drive anything racing-wise until you were 16, but there was a lot of hard work that got you to that point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I worked on my dad's cars. I was about 13 when he bought his first car, and I started working on them. And we knew nothing. We went to the local farm and fleet store and got some jack stands and a jack, and the first thing I had to do was figure out how to jack up. And we had nothing. We didn't have tools or anything. So we just started working on it for something to do together. And honestly, I loved working on the cars. When he first got my car and told me I could race, it didn't have an engine stuff in it. I was going to use my dad's backup engine. I got all his stuff done first. And he raced the first 2.5 months of the season before I could get my stuff done and get to the track. And he was like, he could drive it. I mean, I was excited about it, but I was like, yeah, okay, that's cool, but I really want to get your car. I want to try something else on it, whatever, and get that done first. And then when I started driving, by about the second year, my dad and I raced against each other for a little bit. He just he kind of quit on it and started letting me race more and focusing more on my stuff, which at the time I didn't really get why he was quitting, but I guess I get it now, but I didn't really get it then. He's like, nah, I would just work on your stuff and I'll quit racing. But I always liked working on the cars, honestly, as much or more than I did driving them back in the day.
And that probably certainly makes a difference today. Matt, this is your 10th full-time season in Sprint Cup Series. And I know, just listening to you a while ago, you want to win races. That's why you're here. You're a very competitive individual. But this 10 years has been a great ride for you. The Rookie of the Year, you beat out Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 2003 championship, and now add to the fact of the 2009 Daytona 500 champion. And one thing that I thought of a while ago was looking at your hat and your shirt, a sponsor that's been with you almost this entire journey.
Yeah, it's been 11 years since DeWalt's been with us. So they've been they did our nationwide deal in '99 and moved up to Cup with us for a part-time deal in '99 and full-time in 2000. So they've been a great partner. I got a lot of great friends up there, and they've been a great company to be associated with. But yeah, I mean, our career's been great. I really owe it to my dad and for getting me started, and everybody along the way, and then certainly Robbie Reiser and John Reiser and the whole Reiser family for giving me the first opportunity to drive that Busch car. Without that, I probably would have never got a chance to get to meet Mark and get into Roush. So yeah, it's been great. But how this business is, you're as good as your last race, and you got to keep working on it every week and keep focusing 100% because it's so competitive today that man, you can't let your guard down at all. You'll get beat, and you just got to work at it really hard, harder than you probably had to, in the past, it seems like.
And, of course, there's only 4 other drivers that's done that accomplishment, win the Daytona 500, and went on to win the championship that year, and maybe Matt Kenseth can make it 5. We need to take a little break. As much as Matt and I are enjoying the Lazy Boy Loungers, we're going to go back over there and join the boys. And also, later in the show, we're going to talk to a guy that does the same thing as Hammond. He jumps out of perfectly good airplanes.
Trackside Live, back at the New Hampshire Speedway. Just a few moments, Brian Vickers will join us. Right now, back with Matt Kenseth. Matt, I want to follow up. By the way, great job, Larry Mack, in the Lazy Boy Lounge. Something that Larry and you talked about a moment ago, and that is the fact that you built race cars. I don't know that I've ever heard any driver give as specific feedback as you give your crew chief. I mean, you talk about very small increments. And is that because you grew up building race cars that you know that much about them?
I don't know about that. I feel like I used to know a lot about them, but this car, I don't know if Elliot feels the same way, but it's like I don't even know what's in my car all the time anymore because I can't. Everything I try to change on it doesn't ever go the right way. That bump stops, basically having 4 springs in the front, all being timed out and doing all that has changed the way the whole car and your feel and your feedback and everything goes. So I've tried harder to give more detailed and accurate feedback than I probably ever have, because before, along with the feedback, I could usually 8 times out of 10, if I guessed, it would be the right way. I was like, oh yeah, you need to put 100 pounds in the right rear or whatever, and we could change it and it'd give me the feel I was looking for. Where now I don't know how to get that feel I'm looking for, so I try to give better and more detailed feedback so they can keep track of their notes and what they're changing and what my comments were.
I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. 2 weeks ago, I was in Madison, Wisconsin. I got to play golf with a guy named Aaron Rodgers. Great Packers quarterback, I think. He was very upbeat about this year's season coming up. What do you think about the Packers? I had to ask you about it, being from Wisconsin.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you invited me to go with. I would love to go with and play golf 20 minutes from home with Aaron Rodgers and you.
Sorry.
You, of course. And if you went with, that would have been cool.
Yeah, I could have been your caddy, maybe.
Yeah, thanks.
But I did get invited to a game, so maybe I will get to come to Wisconsin this year and maybe go see a game.
Yeah,
but how do you think the Packers are going to be?
I think they're going to be good. I think Aaron Rodgers is awesome. I think their offense is good. They just re-signed Greg Jennings, which is an awesome receiver. I think they're going to be okay. The only thing that I don't know a lot about, they're switching defenses, from the 4-3 to the 3-4, so I don't really know how that's all going to work and change coordinators and everything. But I think they're going to do good. I think last year was just one of them weird years. They lost a lot of close games. I think they'll win the NFC North this year, and I think they'll do well.
They train in Wisconsin.
Is it right there close to
Where
Green Bay?
do the Chiefs train?
The Chiefs? Somewhere around Kansas City. The Panthers train in South Carolina.
I was on that show. I was in Watkins Glen like about 5 years ago.
Right.
We're still arguing about it.
Well, the Panthers train in Spartanburg.
Matt,
Packers train in Green Bay.
yeah,
Yes.
don't have to go nowhere. At the end of the season, Roush has got to reduce down to meet NASCAR's requirement of only 4 teams. You're one of the senior members right there. Got to believe, you're still going to be a key element in that organization. Have you and Jack, have y'all talked a little bit about, how that's going to, happen and how that will, affect maybe the overall organization?
No, we haven't. I haven't been involved in any conversations, so I don't know what'll happen. I imagine a lot of it has to do with, sponsorship and where they can move things around or put a team at Yates or what have you. But I really think in this economy and with everything that's going on, and I understand the original idea for the cap, but I think they should just let you have as many as you want. Because really, as many cars as you can find sponsorship for, they're still independent teams. And the way they're doing it now anyway, you got the Yates building that's 100 yards apart that uses our chassis and our engineering department, and they sit in all our meetings. I mean, it's just like having 2 more teams. And I hear the Hendrick and the Stewart-Haas thing is just like that. So I just don't I think it's hard to make somebody shut a team right now in today's economy and everything that's been going on.
Matt, Elliott asked you about Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers. Well, I got another question for you. Maybe you've got the inside scoop on maybe both of these. Who's going to actually retire first, Mark Martin or Brett Favre?
That's funny because about, I don't know, it's 2 or 3 years ago when Favre was going through the retirement stuff. Maybe it was one of the times he did. Maybe it was 2 years ago. And Mark, actually, I was talking to him one day. He's like, what's going on? And he doesn't watch any others. He doesn't watch football. He doesn't watch.
He doesn't know how many yards a football field has.
He doesn't know any of that. So anyway, he's like, so what's going on with Brett Favre? He asked me one day. I was kind of looking at him like, well, why? And he's like, I feel bad for him. And I was kind of looking at him. Then it started to figure it out. He goes, well, I actually feel a lot like him. He goes, I can feel for him because I know the exact situation he was in. I thought I wanted to retire and everything. I got away. I was like, man, I want to keep racing as long as I can. You only get one chance to do this. So yeah, it was pretty funny. But I think that Brett Favre will retire first.
You think he might retire?
Yeah,
first?
because I think that physically, eventually, you have to in the NFL, and he's going to be 40 this year. And I think that if Mark has it his way, I don't think he'll ever quit racing.
I don't believe he will. As long as he knows he's competitive.
Yeah, he's competitive, and he loves it. I mean, he's having fun, and he's ate up with it again. And I think he saw even the partial schedule thing. The first year he was on, he'd always call me when he got to skip Martinsville or somewhere he didn't want to be at, and be smart. And by the second year, it was like, oh, how's it going up there? You can tell he's almost wishing he was there. So I think he'll do it for a long time. And gosh, he's running great.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
It will not be fun to watch Brett Favre in purple.
That's all right with me.
Yeah, you got Aaron Rodgers. You don't care.
It'll be all right. I like to watch him play. I mean, you only get one chance to play, so if he decides he wants to play again, somebody give him a job and he's physically able, let him play.
And when is the due date for you and Katie?
It's any day now. A couple weeks.
Any day now.
Couple
well,
weeks.
best of luck. We hope everything goes well. The mom's healthy.
Just never know. So.
The baby's healthy.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
And you're going to help deliver the baby, right?
And
I'm gonna learn
you'll
how
be
to-
able to
how
quit.
to change
You'll be able to
diapers.
quit eating frozen meals.
Yeah.
They're not frozen. They're in a Tupperware.
Okay. And
Microwavable.
Yeah. I do remember to heat them up.
But it's not necessary. You don't have to. All right, time now to take a look at our Bass Pro Shops tailgating tip of the week.
If burning rubber is your passion, then burning your barbecue probably isn't. That's where the Speed Road crew comes in. They know how to keep the tailgate going without a hitch or a glitch, thanks to Bass Pro Shops. Check out their hot tub. No, not that hot tub, this hot tub. Turkey turns golden brown and becomes the envy of all other tailgaters. And since racing is about leading the pack, the Speed Road crew finishes first when using Uncle Buck's batter mix. Everything you need for a great tailgate is at Bass Pro Shops.
Brian Vickers is a former NASCAR Nationwide Series champion. He has a win at the Sprint Cup level and 4 pole positions in 2009. He drives for Team Red Bull. Welcome Brian Vickers, the driver of the number 83 Red Bull Toyota to Trackside Live.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Vickers?
Yeah. So,
How
it's
are
good to
you?
have you as a teammate.
How about that?
I know. How about
They
that?
got nice stuff.
Absolutely. Wait, before we get too started,
Nice tonight. Look at this nice, clean.
He is.
Oh, wow. It looks pressed.
just trying to look like
Looking
you.
good.
So, one of the mistakes that people make about Dollar General, we'll go ahead and get this stuff out of the way, is that
As long as you brought a gift, we can get it out of the way.
Oh, I brought more than one gift. Is they think that everything's under $1, so they just assume that it's not the products they want. But that's actually not true. It's actually nationally brand name products just sold for less. So we brought some gift bags, well, grocery bags, I should say.
My.
And not just any grocery bags. These are grocery bags after my own heart.
They're green.
They're recyclable. You reuse them. So
Yeah, they're green.
I mean, how often do you go to the grocery store? You get these plastic and paper bags. You carry them home and you throw them away.
Nice, thank you.
Well, why
Pat.
not get a bag that you can reuse? Now, this is something that everybody should think about. It's something I personally think about. Every time you go to the grocery store, a bag you can reuse. And even if you go to the convenience store, just don't even use a bag. You know, they say,
Man, look, Oreos.
Can I share my Oreos with the fans?
General Mills brand.
Y'all want some Oreos?
Kleenex, Jolly Ranchers. You go down the list. I mean, laundry list. These are products that these are the everyday products that you use at home.
Here you go, Hammond.
But
Eat this. Here, take that right there.
Here.
Oh, that hurts.
Here, you need the toothbrush to go with that right there.
That's nice of you, Vic.
Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have
Thank
fun
you
with
very,
that.
very much. Since you passed out something from your Nationwide Series sponsor, congratulations, because this is your 100th career start in the Nationwide Series. It all started 8 years ago in Milwaukee, driving your own race car, and through that, the 2003 championship driving for the Hendrick Group.
Yeah, absolutely. It's honestly, I had no idea. They called me and said, "You want to go on Trackside for your 100th Nationwide start?" I was like,
How many?
"Oh, I'm getting old." Yeah, there's your team car.
I know.
Your
Looks
team
good.
car.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
absolutely. We didn't start out quite as good as we wanted to begin with, but I felt like we ended with a really good package. I'm glad we were able to get back on the racetrack in that second practice, because the first practice, although we were okay, I didn't feel like we really had a shot to win. There in the second practice, that one run we got in, I think we made some changes and gave me the confidence in the car. That's like, okay, now we're a top 5 car. We can race for a win.
Well, look, I know qualifying was rained out today, and you probably didn't want to see that. 4 poles this year already. Been very fast on Friday. Fast on Sundays, during the race, but maybe not finishing the races like you want to. What does Brian Vickers, the team, have to do to kind of translate that to the, finish the way you've been running during all the races?
That's a great question. At the end of the day, it's a performance business, and you want that trophy sitting on your desk. We've led a lot of laps. Some stuff we could have controlled, some we couldn't. Right here, we started on the pole, had a great car, especially on the short run. And I don't know what Kyle was thinking. He wrecked the 77 himself and then took me out in the process. And, it's just kind of like days like that. And then on top of that, we also blew a motor. It didn't completely blow up, but we were down a couple hundred at the end of the race. So we really struggled getting back through the field, being that far down on power after the incident. We got from 39th to 16th, but we just couldn't make much more gains. We'd get under guys and pass them. But, you look to Charlotte. We had I missed the 77, and then I go to going by, and then the 18 gets me. But, Charlotte, the fastest car there again. We pit, we come out in 5th, and it starts raining. It's just like, I mean, it's just something you can't control.
And if that last caution had to come out Atlanta, I think you were going to beat the 2 car. It sure looked like it.
Atlanta's the same way. Who knows what would have happened?
Yeah.
But we did have a good car. We had as good of a shot at it as anybody, and unfortunately, we lost 6 spots on pit road and came out 7th with 3 laps to go. And man, 7 spots is hard to make up in 3 laps.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the stuff that you don't see on TV. The moments I remember, I was talking to Brian on pit road right after that race, and I said, Brian, were you going to be able to get around the 2? And he said, I don't know, but I was sure going to get to him.
Yeah, I mean, Kurt and I have always had some great battles. So we actually had a fierce battle to the end at Sonoma. We door to door, just rubbing wheels all the way off 11, all the way to start finish line. I had a blast. But I mean, he's one of those guys that I knew when he got to the end. He's a talented driver. He's going to race you as hard as anybody, but he'll race you clean. We probably would have had some donuts on our doors coming down to the start finish line in Atlanta, but I would imagine that both of us would have made it across the line.
One way or the other.
One way or the other.
More with Brian Vickers coming up. Want to remind you, next week, your NASCAR Independence Day celebration begins early with speed. Join us for 3 huge days of coverage from Daytona, from the NASCAR Hall of Fame induction nominations to all of the at-track action. You can't miss a minute. It all begins Thursday, 4 Eastern, only on Speed. We're back at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It's time now for our Inside Sprint Cup Mobile feature. This week we check out the sights and sounds from wine country last Sunday.
Radio check 1 2. 10-4, got you. Check 1 2. I got you there. You got me okay? Got a copy. 10-4.
Here we are at the Infineon Raceway, getting ready for the Toyota Save Mart 350.
All right, guys. We've got a pretty decent car. Stay safe, have fun. Let's go kick some butt. We shocked half the people by sitting up here. Let's go win this damn thing and shock the rest of them.
The green flag is about to fly. 112 laps here at Infineon. A good start for Brian Vickers. Casey Kane also charges to the inside of Kyle Busch as they hit turn 1.
You guys gave me the best car I've ever had out here. I know that. Whether it's fast or not, I don't know, but certainly drives the best. Feels good. Yeah, 10-4. It's not too bad. It's pretty good lap times there.
We have about 4 different pit strategies for the race cars out on the speedway right now. Tony Stewart has decided to come on in to pit road. We've got a new leader, Robbie Gordon.
Want to come or not? We can pit this time if we want. We can pit this time.
Trouble. Sam Hornish Jr. spins.
Robbie Gordon just got burned by that caution. Stayed out way too long.
Damn it, Kurt. You told me to come by one more time. I was already in the corner. Just lost the race. Dude, I was going to come with them. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I screw myself every year at this race. If I was a psychic, we would have done it. Don't talk to me no more, please.
This plays beautifully into Casey Kane's hands. Now he's the leader.
Tony Stewart's Chevy, 3 car lengths back. Marcus Ambrose watching it all unfold. Casey Kane pulls away from Tony Stewart.
Hold him a couple car lengths there. Keep driving out the front windshield. You're doing good.
Casey Kane's road course woes are over. Casey Kane wins the Dodge Save Mart 350.
My God! Woo! Damn! Awesome job, man. That is awesome. Unbelievable. Not too bad from a dirt tracker from Washington.
Casey Kane's 10th career win. Now, we know that Team Red Bull, Brian Vickers' team, Scott Speed's teams are loaded with ex-former athletes. I know one of the guys played football at Arizona State. Well, we sent a couple of our athletes, Jeff Hammond and Hermie Sadler, up to Richard Childress Racing for a little contest.
Hammond versus Hermie, the parking lot 500. Now, I'm already here, getting ready, getting loose. Hammond, I think, had to stop up at the local tanning bed to get one last tan in before he made it here. Hey, hey, you seen Jeff Hammond? Drop off 2 boxes of ice cream sandwiches for him. That's what he needs this morning. Appreciate it. Thank you. 2 boxes of ice cream sandwiches. I will never fill him up. It's like old times. Black and white TV and Jeff Hammond. It's all good. Don't mess with me, sucker! Now you're on my turf. My turf. They've picked 250 grueling reps for the most hated exercises we know here at RCR. I'm just baiting you. Got plenty of gas left in the tank. It's all the strategy. Just watch. Here's your white flag. You gonna wave it?
And for the rest of that feature, make sure you see NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot at 10:30 on Sunday.
Your brother couldn't even jack the car up.
I can believe that.
He couldn't do it. I kicked his butt on pit road. Now, he did beat me in the gym, but
Whoa, wait a second.
he beat me in the
He
gym.
beat you in the gym?
It's hard, isn't it?
I'm not making
You look like a, whatever you call those guys, those muscle guys.
Did you see how excited he
Looks
was
like
over the
Fabio.
Oreo double stuff? So
That's right, man. I
Oh,
got to have my
that's true.
Oreos. But, I mean, he beat me in the gym, and I didn't mind doing it. Those guys
Wow.
are animals right now. These guys that work on pit road, your guys, for example, for your pit crews, I'm sure
I don't think they
same
get
way.
enough credit for the work they do
don't
during the
get
week.
enough credit for what they
for
do
the
during the
weekend.
week. They really don't. They really don't. They work very, very hard to be able to back up the hard work you guys put out on the racetrack.
Yeah.
But just signed a new contract with Red Bull.
No, I haven't signed it yet.
Did you sign it yet?
Uh-oh.
Oh, come on now.
it
Keep
was
proving all this
reported
stuff?
that you signed a
Yeah.
contract
I know,
extension.
everybody keeps.
I was going to say congratulations. Let's move
Well,
on past
speaking
it right
of, you
there.
know, how hard the crew members work,
No,
I'm trying to figure out here.
we've agreed on everything. We just haven't signed it yet.
Okay, well, you got something to look forward to.
Yep.
But you're being a senior member over there, and you got your teammate, Scott Speed. I mean, Scott has struggled this year, you know, at different times. You know, how is it to be, you know, because you've come from a team where you were the junior member, working with Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson, guys like that. Now you find yourself, you're the lead dog over there. How is it to work with a young guy like him and trying to get him to, you know, pick up some of the things that you've, you know, spent all these years learning?
You know, it's different, you know, but especially because we come from two different backgrounds. How we relate information, you know, what the feel we're looking for in the car is there's a lot of differences. And, you know, a lot of these tracks are new to him. He doesn't really know. And sometimes I can help him, but sometimes, you know, when I stop and I think about it, he's like, okay, where are you lifting? If I go back out on the racetrack and I look for it, I can tell him. But, you know, I've been coming to these places now for, like we talked about at the beginning of the show, 8 years. And it's like, I don't know, I'm like lifting like right before I lift and turn in.
How about they move the numbers in turn
Yeah,
one?
they did move the numbers in turn one. That kind of messed me up a little bit. But no, I don't use a lot of marks. So but as far as being the most experienced guy on the team, it's obviously I've been in that role now for a couple years. I'm getting used to it, but it's a different role for sure. You know, there's a lot of pressure on it. You know, they always come to you like, what do you think of this transmission? What do you think of this gearing? What do you think of this? What do you think of that? You know, what kind of brakes do you prefer? Used to all those decisions were made for me by Jeff and Jimmy. I just drove it. Now I've got to make all those decisions, which in the long run, I've actually really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed that responsibility. I think I've grown as a driver. I've gained a lot of experience by going through that and being the person to pick those things and to decide what is right and what is wrong for this team. And, you know, being able to help mentor AJ and Scott along has been a new role for me as well. A challenging role because, you know, it's not just mentoring someone to the Cup Series. You're mentoring them to stock cars as a whole.
Yeah. Elliot, the numbers they moved, they didn't add one to you. I know you were having a little trouble getting past 5 last time. So.
No, they just took them away. They're not on the front stretch. They're on the back stretch, but they're not on the front stretch. There's different. They got little orange stripes now on the fence.
And they seem like they're in a different place.
They're further down to me. Yeah.
They
Okay,
really
we need to
threw
go to
you a
break.
curve.
Whatever come to the principle of rolling out when your butt tells you it's ready to roll out?
But the number helps you with the butt tensing thing.
More with Brian Vickers coming up. Stay tuned to NASCAR 7 days a week with in-car audio, live race radio, stats, and more with NASCAR Sprint Mobile. It'll change the way you experience the race. Visit sprint.com/speed to find out more only on the Now Network. Trackside is presented by new Shell nitrogen-enriched gasolines. Brought to you in part by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you got to get DirecTV. And visit CheeriosRacing.com when you'll get great healthy tips and $4 in coupons from Cheerios. We'll be at the Daytona International Speedway next week. Jason Leffler joins us. You can see that at 7 Eastern here on Speed.
All right, look, I got a question, Brian. Last week before the Infineon race, we saw the Red Bull helicopter doing all kinds of stuff in there, flips and stuff like that. And then somebody hit me and said, Brian Vickers has flown that helicopter and ridden in it. Are you kidding me? You actually got in that?
I did. I actually enjoyed it. That's what's really scary.
Look at it going upside down.
Yeah, he can fly upside down. The only reason he can't actually remain upside down is the engine will lose oil pressure and the engine will lock up. So there's even talk about trying to build an engine they can keep the oil pressure in so he can stay upside down.
I thought he was going to say the reason you can't stay upside down is
you
it'll hit
throw
the
up.
ground.
Oh.
I guess it varies for each individual. Some probably can't stay upside down because they'll throw up.
crazy.
That's crazy.
Man,
Crazy man.
he does all the things that Hammond does. I'm just not going to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
He's got me beat on the bull ride, and I want to do that.
Okay, well, I'll get you on one. I got a bull.
Yeah.
You come ride boogity, boogity, boogity. I'll get you on one.
Brian Vickers, thank you. Don't forget, practice 9 a.m. tomorrow here on Speed.